the random cut marker is goat noise.
Got it, okay.
So, I mean, Chris was actually making goat noises, but we don't have to do all of that. No, man, LinkedIn is I'm trying to also work on the gross verbiage of LinkedIn because, like, I saw this, translator that took regular speak, which was, like, this guy saying, "I got a job," or whatever,
Mhm.
and, then it converted it into LinkedIn speech, and it was, like, this paragraph of, "I am enthused to announce that I have accepted a position," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
No, not at
I
all."
I am so excited to announce that after years of working and putting in the hours, the opportunities have surfaced.
Yep, yep, yeah. Exactly that. No, I understand the dichotomy of its importance and its absurdity.
Yeah.
Put it in those means.
It is sometimes, like, a necessary I don't know if I wanna call it an evil, but, like, it is sometimes kind of a necessity. It is odd, just the world of, like, professionalism in general and just, like, the weird thin line sometimes between, like, being honest and sincere with yourself versus, like, I don't know, like, what am I trying to say? Like, the culture of it sometimes requires, like, not a facade, but, like, a different version, an airbrushed version of yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, a whole new persona. It's like you have to become LinkedIn Spence, LinkedIn Jess, LinkedIn.
right.
It's like, hello. You know what's crazy though is when I was back in grad school, I actually got graded on professionalism.
Really?
Yeah, like, and I was fucking great at it. My
Yeah.
professionalism score was at 100, and then I had one bad day and missed one assignment and dropped down to 98.5, and I've been pissed about it ever
Ooh.
since.
Yeah, I can tell you're clearly over it.
It's like, yeah, I'm not mad about this, and it's only been 13 years. I'm fine. I'm not pissed off about the fact that it dropped because I had one bad fucking day and missed a fucking assignment turn in by, like, literally 15 minutes. I was so mad.
If you just turn your webcam right now, like, on your wall, it's just written, like, 1.5%,
Yeah,
1.5%, 1.5%, just scratched in over and over again.
yeah, on all of the walls everywhere. It's just at this point, it's just a mural of no.
That's so funny.
Yeah, man. But today I think we're gonna hit up on some parallels, like the things between I think you and I were starting to have this conversation via text and then life
Mhm.
slapped the shit out of both of us. But the difference between like science and spirituality and
Mm,
parallels there and all of
absolutely.
that funness. I know I sound so enthused. This is me excited. For those listening at home, I am super excited about this topic, but I don't
Mhm.
sound it. There's nothing I can do about it. You'll get used to it.
I've known Jess for a few years right now, and I'm honestly my jaw is agape seeing how excited she is right now.
Yeah, super serial excited, okay? No, but I love this topic because I love really messing with people's heads about the difference between fucking spirituality and science, and I
Mhm.
think it was Disney Marvel movies, Thor, mostly. We do not own those. Again, this is the disclaimer, we're just talking about them. Um,
I wish I owned those.
yeah, same here, I would be not in the same shit boat that I'm in right now, but I digress. I love the fact that they were having an argument about a soul forge versus a molecular whatever, 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 and Thor
Mm,
was just like, "It's a soul forge," and she's like, "Yeah, it's a molecular whatever, whatever, whatever," and
mm,
it's like how it's the same thing, like when people say, "No, you have to do this spell work to get this thing," and then other people are talking about affirmations and mantras, and then other
right.
people are just talking about, "No, it's just discipline and psychology," and so, it's all the same.
Yeah.
What if I were to tell you it's the same damn thing?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting too. I mean, I remember it was a conversation we had again maybe about like a month ago, and we were talking about I had heard this somewhere, I forget where, but I was talking about how like talking to people and words, like you're just casting spells constantly.
Yeah.
Like in the sense of that like when you can say something, you can move air, creates it hits someone's ear, it's registered as information and communication, and it affects somebody,
Mhm.
right? Like, that is like, what is a spell? Like, I mean, I don't know, I'm not like a perfect, I'm not a Harry Potter head, right? I don't know the exact, what defines a spell, but I would say it's something to the effect of a collection of, either words or energy that, like, are then, thrust from one party to another to affect it in some sort of way, and I just think that that's literally what communication is, but then on top of that, you can also break that down on the scientific level, and it's like, it's all the magic and science is the same shit.
Right, and then, I mean, like, even if you look into to and I'm not wicked or anything, I'm spiritual, if anybody wants to slap a label on it, I'm an omnist, I think everybody's a little bit right and everybody's a little lot bit wrong.
Yes.
But, like, if you look at a lot of the religions or even spiritual practices, which they're not the same thing, but that
Mhm,
use spell work and stuff like that, they'll tell you, you have to set an intention, you have to be mindful of when you decide to set this intention, you have to be
mhm.
careful of the words that you use. You know, you can't just be like, "Hey, so I want a chocolate chip cookie to fall out of the sky and hit me in the face." It's like, do you understand the physics of getting hit in the face by a chocolate chip cookie? Like, you know how fast that thing is going and you want it to actually make contact with you, like, be
Right,
careful what you ask for.
right.
It's much the same though, it's like you and they'll tell you too, like, you have to have certain elements involved, which if you think about the body, it's like, well, you've got air, and they'll
Mhm.
tell you you need air. You've got water, which is pumping through your veins, you've got
Right.
the heat, which is keeping you alive, let that body temperature of yours fall below 98 degrees and see what happens to you.
Yeah.
Like like, you've got all of these elements, you've got the intention, you've got the communication, and I feel like so many people are like, "No, that's just bullshit, that's, it's
Mhm.
hokum, it's whatever you wanna call it," and then
Yeah.
at the end of the day, especially with quantum mechanics coming up and which just so everybody knows, I'm not a quantum physicist or anything, I'm just a quantum nerd.
Yeah.
I just geek out over these things, they make me
Mhm.
smile on the inside.
Right.
But thinking about things like, entanglement theory, the operation of enacting something on one thing in one place and having something similar of the same genetic makeup having a reaction in a different place, seeming to be 2 different molecules, but the same.
That's interesting.
It's fucking wonderful is what it is. But people would say, "Oh, no, that's like telekinesis," or, "That's like, it's no different than I have ball here and I squeeze this ball and there's a thing inside of it that's telling that ball over there that it's being squeezed and that's reacting." Like,
Mhm.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
For sure. Do you think that, like, part of the when you talk about people who, whether it's in a Harry Potter-esque setting or in a religious setting or what have you, do you think that people have an issue with the concept of, like, magic in because it a lot of times people's interpretation of what magic is relies on this idea of, like, it's just unknown.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, and I think just the way it's been perceived over the years of, like, you've got your fairy grandparent like, Fairly Odd Parents, but your fa
Fairy grandparents,
yes, your fairy
Jimmy, get
grandparents,
me my tails.
Exactly, but, like, you got your fairy, godmother? There we go. That's the fucking word I'm looking for. But you've
Oh,
got
yes, yes.
that person, you've got wands, you've got all of these high-pitched magical noises, like, they make it a farce. It's kinda like the whole Alvin and
Mhm.
the Chipmunks thing. If I saw 3 chipmunks singing at me, I think, 1, I'd wonder what the fuck kinda weed I was smoking.
Yeah.
Uh, or did if somebody, like, laced my bourbon or something,
Right,
like, my
right.
scotch isn't actually scotch, it's ketamine, but but, like, it's farcical, but if we ever act, because I mean, if you think about it, technically those animals could sync up in such a way that it could appear to a human that they are indeed singing together. I mean, how many
For sure.
videos do we see about that? But it's so farcical that 1, it doesn't freak us out,
Mhm,
unless we're actually thinking about, "Why is this happening?"
mhm. Yeah.
And 2, we're trained to look at it like, "Oh, that would just be wouldn't that be the bee's knees? That would
Yeah.
just be slapping and hilarious," like, things like and I think it's the same for magic and even just spirituality in general,
Mm.
talking to the imaginary space guy with the long beard, but then you look at
Right.
that and it's like the depiction of I'm gonna get slammed so hard for a lot of this, but the depiction of, like, traditional Western Christian God is very similar
Mhm.
to that of Odin, to that
Mm,
of Zeus,
mm,
to that of, various other gods and godlings throughout history, so it really makes you wonder, and I mean, on the same in the same vein, the Nords were pretty smart. They just
mhm.
adapted with whoever was in charge seemingly at the time so that they didn't lose out on their actual, spiritual practices.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, like, I do think people have been conditioned to look at spirituality and magic and things like that and think of it as kind of farcical and whimsical and like,
Right.
"Oh, well, science isn't proving it." I'm sorry, but I'm allergic to trees. I can take a tiny pink pill and all of a sudden the tree stuff outside stops making me wanna die.
Right, right,
Like
right,
like, if that's not magic in a pill, I don't know
right.
what
Yeah, and well, and also, like, conversely too, like, I feel like when people talk about science, I feel like there's also Um, okay, disclaimer, I'm not like an anti-science person. I there's a lot of I trust science, da 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 da. But I also think that people view science as like the be all end all. Like it's like it's backed by science.
Mhm.
It must be correct. Like there are have been developments in science in the last like 100 years that previously, like for hundreds of years, were
Yep.
treated as fact and just proven wrong recently. I just think that we should continue to pursue the sciences, obviously, I mean, just as a human race, continue to learn from it and trust it, but I also think we can't go too far, and this actually kind of applies to, like, religion and spirituality too. We
Mhm.
can't go so far to think that we're like I've always thought there's a level of arrogance to human beings of like, "Oh, I get it.
Yep.
I understand how this whole insane thing we call the universe and life. Oh, I get it now. I understand how it works."
Yep.
Like, I think there's almost like a level of like arrogance to that, whether it's through religion or science or whatever. So I think that like it's to me the thing with the sciences is like yes, continue to learn and trust and all that stuff from it, but you also can't it's just interesting to me what is the point I'm trying to make? I just think that there's sometimes a level of,
Keep
like
going. Keep
yeah,
learning. Keep
yeah,
exploring.
yeah, I think that there's a certain point at which, though, it's a little bit dangerous where you're like, "Oh, that" there's where you d where God damn it. Where you believe that it is the be all end all. The science said yes, end of conversation, and
Right.
people will just close it off there, and I think it's sometimes that can be a little dangerous, I guess
I
is maybe the point.
It's incredibly dangerous, and I think people do the same thing with religion. We see how well that's worked out for us.
Right.
Um, like, sorry, guys, shop dog has decided he wants my attention. Alright, buddy, go lay down. Thank you. Good
He's
boy.
like, "I have something to say
Go
about science."
Yeah, I know you do. Yes, like, tell me about the science that said it was okay to cut off my nuts.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I think it is very dangerous when people look at anything, like, through that lens of, like, I know everything about everything, and that's just it. Because one of the things that makes science science is understanding that you don't know everything.
Right.
That's the whole point of its exploration, its documentation, research, repetition, and then replication after a while once the repetition yields results. Like, that's when you know that for, like, this is a brick wall, I'm not gonna get into a fight with a brick wall because science has shown me that meaty flesh is not gonna win against rocks. It's
Right.
just, like, I'm that carbon I'm not Superman.
Right,
I'm not
totally.
Goku. Like,
Yeah.
shit, I'm not even Krillin, like, I'm gonna get hurt on that
Yeah,
one, you know what I mean?
exactly. Well, and you know what's really crazy too is, like, I saw this a little while ago, like, an Instagram reel, because that's where I get my information education like a true scholar, but
Yes, yes.
excuse me, this reel that talked about how, um molecules and atoms and stuff, like, when you put your hand on a wooden table, your hand can't go through it, although there is technically space between all of your molecules and everything, and they're like, "So scientifically, like, why is it that that can't happen?" And the answer? They're like, "We don't fucking know."
Well, and that's the funny thing about it is if you think about it, it's about a compression and an unseen barrier, then there's the energy frequencies that are being created by the molecules bouncing back and forth between that barriered space, which is you.
Mhm.
I mean, it really makes you think, like, if some part of my anatomy wasn't working correctly or just worked a little bit differently, and this table had an iota of space more in between the molecules, would I phase through it?
Right.
Like
Totally.
that's the thing, but the funny thing is the reason you can't go through the space is because of energy and
Right.
density, which, going back to earlier, that's the same thing that they bring up with magic. It's just energy manipulation and how the different waves and frequencies form into each other for an effect that you potentially want, but what they don't talk about is like, all right, so say you cast a spell to, I don't know, find the most incredible rocks you've ever found. The thing about spirituality, and just like with any type of flowing energy or any type of whatever, is it's going to choose the path of least resistance, whether you
Mm.
want it to or not.
Podcast over. We just covered it all.
Bang. That's it. Parallels, just be okay with them. They're
Yeah.
gonna happen.
No, I yeah. No, I find that stuff infinitely interesting. I think one thing I'll share too with the audience at home listening is, some of, like, my background, I guess, like, kind of coming into these concepts, which I find super interesting. So, for context, I grew up in a very Catholic household. So, for probably the first 18 years of my life, it was like I'm talking, like, didn't miss a single Sunday, like, went every single Sunday,
Oh,
did
dang.
all the Sunday schools, like, my
No.
mom was a religious education teacher, like, the whole thing, right? And so, it was a lot of that was kind of, a part of my life for a long time. Now, currently, I'm, 30. I kind of am on my own journey and trying to figure out how exactly I view the world in terms of that kind of space and whatever,
Snaps.
but yeah. But,
Little snaps.
yeah. I was very lucky, though, in that my both of my parents, but I think a lot about my mom specifically because she was somebody who was very curious about the world and, like, looked at had a period in her life where she looked at different religions and kinda, like, studied them and whatever, and she landed on Catholicism, but the very interesting thing is that she was never I remember she shared a meme on Facebook one time, this is so corny, but it's the best, where it was like religion and then science, and it was that do you remember that old taco, like, shell commercial where it was, like, the little girl and it was, like,
Yeah, the "Por qué no
pork
los dos?"
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was like a meme format for a while,
Mhm.
and my mom was like, "Yes," like, her whole thing was like, "These 2 things coexist." She was like, "In fact, they need each other."
Yes.
Like, and that was something she always kind of, like, instilled. It wasn't just this blind, like, "God made everything, and you just need to believe in that above all else." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and see, I grew up Southern Baptist and stopped going to church at the tender age of 14 when I went no, because I also went to some of the religious schools, and let me tell you, some of the Southern Baptist people are the worst I have ever experienced in my fucking life, and I've had Nazis on my caseload. So
Damn, damn. That's bad.
yeah, it's bad, and that is the whole "God will smite you if you think wrong." Like, I've been baptized 3 times, they tried to
Mm.
drown me twice, like,
Whoa, dude.
it just did not stick among some other, fateful things, which will be a season 3 conversation topic.
Eh.
But, like, looking at that, and it was very much so like, God does this. Everything in your life that
Mm,
happens is because God, 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 God. And I'm like, I have a question. Do we have a name for this particular God? Because
right.
there are endlessly many of them. And I'd like to make sure if we're having conversations, it's the right one.
Yeah.
And they're like, Yahweh. And I'm like, I don't think you quite understand the words that you're saying, considering that's not an English word and you are speaking to
Mm.
me in English. So I think there might be something of a disconnect here
Right, right.
somewhere, so maybe we just figure all that out, and then getting into more of the scientific bits. I mean, I remember I had teachers that I'm pretty sure they thought they might still think because I kinda dropped off the face of the planet,
Mm.
that I was gonna go into some type of chemical weaponry because I was asking
Interesting,
him,
like, as a career?
yeah, like because I was
Wow.
asking questions about interactions and gamma ray, but truly, I'm just a fucking nerd. So
Also, I just need to go back to what I just said. Probably, I better a career than doing that as a hobby. That might be
yes.
a little red flaggy.
Yeah, no, I just it was all really expensive back then, it was already a red flag just walking into, like a hardware store being this complexion in the South, it's like, "What are you doing?" Like, "No, I'm not. Sorry. My bad. I just wanna know where the chlorine is." "Why?" "'Cause I have a pool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry."
That's funny.
But, yeah, no, some of them were just like, "Wait, why are you asking about the interactions of gamma radiation and the effect of decay on, like, human beings and
Mm,
other mammalian species?" And I'm like, "'Cause I'm genuinely curious if a gamma like, some type of gamma ball exploded now, what would happen to us versus, like, all of those other little animals and stuff out there?" Like,
right.
I have questions, and,
Mhm.
of course, in the Christian schools, it was like, God will answer those questions, and I'm like, alright, so let me pose this, like, what if and again, I'm not Christian or anything, I'm
Mhm.
spiritual as hell, but subscribe to none of it.
Yeah.
Like, what if you, teacher person that I'm asking this question, are supposed to be answering this question because God said so? And they're like, "No." Like, you could also just say, "I don't know," and we can explore this avenue together, which could also be said, "No, no, I got alright, cool, we won't do that, I'll just you're going to hell, okay." I'm going to hell for asking about gamma radiation, which is natural, by the
Right,
way.
right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
like kind of again, like the religious equivalent of the whole like the science thing of just like because science and if not you stupid,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, and, like, so there is one avenue that I have found that actually matches up a lot with the way that I think, and
Mm,
it's hermetics, which
mm.
people are like, "Hermetics? That's just Hermes," and I'm like, "Not the don't think of the guy with the glasses and the caduceus and the cool little wing shoes. Think of the crazed asshole who might have also been the Egyptian god, who might have also been the guy with the asshole shoes."
Interesting. Tell me
But
more about this.
it's the what people would consider the holy book, which there is no holy book, it's just a statement on a rock, and it's the rocks are called the emerald tablets, in which he essentially says, "As above, so below, as within, so without." That's it, motherfucker
Mm,
disappears. The rest of history after that.
yeah.
And, like, people have tried to figure out what it means, and they're like, "What is" you know, even now looking at science and replication of human cells, like biology, and then you look at, the cosmos and cosmology and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and you watch how stars are reproduced, it's like, it's very similar. Like, looking
Sure.
between the 2, it's a very similar concept or how your brain is a giant piece of meat full of electricity that's just bouncing
Yeah.
around and which makes no damn sense, and honestly, you should be electrocuted hands in, and I know that there's some electroconduction, whatever, and stuff, fluid,
Yeah.
but, I mean, you think about that, and it's just like, well, I mean, it's like when conditions are right in the weather versus the conditions are right in your head, and if the conditions in your head are correct, then your body will operate correctly, and then hopefully and
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
you can actually put things like thoughts of, "Hey, what if I wanted to have a conversation with my buddy Spence, the sound guy? Because 'Cause I'm sorry, that's just who you are forever."
I'll take it.
Great. But what if I wanted to have a conversation with him about parallels and I want it to be across a podcast, but we're at 2 different locations having this conversation, and I want it to make people actually think about, well, I know that this is a thing, but it could also be this thing, and the energy in my brain is going, "That's a great idea," and just and it's
Right.
allowing me to speak. I mean, granted, I'm speaking half in sound effects, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
No,
so
it's super wild. One thing I wanna, like, ask you about, like, I've found with specifically when you said the "as above, so below," like, to me, it feels like across so many specifically actually, no, I was gonna say specifically religions, but honestly, it even kinda goes into the sciences as well, is, like, there's always this, like, I guess the term would be what? Dichotomy, where it's, like, 2 and this is gonna be very ignorant because I don't know what I'm talking about, but, like,
it's
yin and
exploration.
yang. Yeah, yeah. You have, like, things like yin and yang, or you have things like, heaven and hell, or you have things like fucking well, I guess there's neutrons too, but I was gonna say electrons and protons, and, like,
Yeah,
like, I feel like there's always this kind of
polarity.
polarity.
Yeah.
Beautifully, beautiful word. Perfect.
Yeah, there is always a polarity because, I mean, these things exist, and it's the multiplicity of reality. I've
Mhm.
just said so many comic book words, I'm losing my brain right now. But it's like the multiplicity of reality, like, these 2 things must exist so this spectrum can exist
Mm,
for whoever it needs to exist for, but then that starts to roll into the infinitely many realities
right.
theory and, like, multiverse theory, like the
Mhm.
multiverse of multiverses of continued infinite just existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the polarities may even just be as far as we were able to understand them for as long as we could understand them. I'm not saying they
Mhm.
don't exist because they have to exist in some way, shape, or form,
Right.
but I think it also shows you, like, 2 different I don't wanna say ends, but points on a spectrum that are so vastly different, but could potentially be made of the same stuff, you
Yes.
know? Like, it's kinda how I feel about all of that, and the thing about it too is that and what people don't realize is that hermetics is also very scientific as well as spiritual, which is
Mm.
why I love it so much because the guy is just kinda like, "Listen, this is how it is. Be okay with it."
Right, right. Yeah. No, that's huge. I think that to me it's just very interesting that to me the fact that there are echoes of the polarity in so many things just across the world, both of human constructs and in nature, to me signals that that is at to some degree even though we might never be able to truly understand it, points to some greater truth
Yeah.
of something.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's like when people ask, "Do you believe in good and evil? Do you believe" it's like, "But" yes and no. I mean, it's kind of all perspective. It's all
Relative.
exactly. What I believe in is existence and non-existence, which
Mhm.
people are like, "The fuck kind of answer is that?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, you think about it. I'm either gonna exist or I'm not gonna exist." That's something that I can say has a that's a pretty blanket objective terminology, like I exist or I don't.
Yeah. No, totally.
Like, I either exist or I don't exist. Not I exist to some people, like, that's also a truth, and to some people, I'm not a real person,
Right.
like, also a truth, but to me,
A
who is
relative truth.
right, it's like,
Yeah.
but I exist. There's
Right.
no like, you can debate it all day long, and it'd be hilarious if you were debating and I was sitting in the audience just
Yeah,
going, "But I'm
right.
right here." But then you know that there's gonna be a percentage of people who still wouldn't believe it. They'd be like, "No, you're not real."
Right, right. It kinda sounds it almost reminds me a little bit of the what is it, like, "Tree falls in the woods, if no
Yeah.
one's around to hear it, did it make a sound?" kinda thing.
Yeah, and the
Um,
answer is yes, and also no.
right, right. Uh,
Like, that's what I love about parallels, like, I think not enough people really dive into them because I mean, they can be a
mm.
little scary, they unravel a lot of things for folks, they're just like, "No,
Yes.
I can't think about that because then my reality
Such a
will
good
be
point.
just garbage," and it's like, "No, it won't though, your reality will expand, yeah, there's gonna be new challenges, but honestly, it's like playing the first round in Mario over and over, and it like,
Yeah.
you're good at it, be done with it, like, go back when you need it, but, like,
Right.
explore, go see some other things out there. Um
That's a fantastic point, and I think that even kinda ties into earlier, like, what we're talking about, like, you're saying about people being so stern and what's the word? Is there a word what would be the word here? I wanted to say unbudgingly, and I feel like that's not a word.
I wanna say, like, immutable? I
Immutable. I like
that's
that.
that's one word that could mean that my brain thesaurus is like, "Nah, you can go fuck yourself, you only
Sure.
deposited 2 cups of coffee today."
How about we invent the word unbudgingly for this
Yes,
sake of this example?
it
I
sounds like
think
begrudgingly. You're begrudgingly unbudgingly, okay?
Yes! Yes, that's perfect. Sounds like a Eminem rap. But, yeah, I think that that ties in because I think there is, people get like that, whether it be with the sciences or religions or whatever perspective they're defending, exactly because of what you just said, and it's because it's very fear-oriented,
Mhm,
and I think that I know for me, especially in my early to mid-20s, again, with my background of growing up in a very Catholic household, I had to I allowed myself to go, "Okay, let me just step away from this and
mhm.
operate under the assumption let me almost try to, like, clean slate my mentality on how I'm, like, viewing the world and religion and all this kinda stuff, and it was scary. It was
Yeah.
super scary because it's like a comfort it's a comfort thing, certainly, like, to have something like that, especially when you've grown up with it,
Yep.
and, that's there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I think that it does often push people to be afraid to get out of their own comfort zones, but after allowing myself to explore and be freaked out and have certain nights where I'm literally laying in bed going, "Holy shit, this is all so scary. I don't understand any of this."
Yeah.
And eventually allowing myself to get to a point where, I have my own kind of perception and understanding of it, and allowing myself to live in that fear and accept that fear. And realizing it's not about combating the fear, it's about accepting it and working with it.
Yeah.
And not trying to alleviate or, I guess you're kind of alleviating it, but you're not trying to defeat it. You're not trying to destroy the fear.
Yeah, or you're not trying to distract yourself from it. It's like you've
Right.
accepted that this is a natural part of it. Like fear-mongering is not okay. I hate it when people fear-monger.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's bad for you kids.
Right.
Um, but
I'm looking at you, Jimmy. I
yeah.
know you're listening right now.
I mean, to be fair, I'm gonna go ahead and shameless plug real quick. If I saw Jimmy the Butcher looking at me, I'd be fucking terrified. Just a heads up, I'd be like, "I don't know why you're staring at me, but I didn't do it, whatever it was." And in the same vein, that kind of fear is to help protect you from potentially violent situations. That's not to mean that,
Mm,
you're gonna get into these situations by believing something different than what you were raised on.
mm.
Like, you also have the choice to not engage in stupid acts of, like,
Right.
don't kick Jimmy the Butcher in the nuts and you might survive. Like
Yeah.
like, kind of feels like that's a given there, but I think people don't have the same respect for fear that they should either. I'm not saying that you should
Ooh,
bow down to it, but if it's going, "I'm scared," this is your opportunity to go, "Let's walk through this together and figure it out."
I
You know
fucking love what you just said, a respect for fear.
Yeah.
That's so good and such a real thing.
Yeah, I feel like people take respect and then they're like, "No, I have to just bow down to it." I didn't say you have to submit to fear. So
Right.
you should just respect it because it's got a place. Fear has a place.
Yeah, fear certainly has a place, and it certainly has a I think fear can be a motivating thing in a positive way. I
Mhm.
think it also can be a motivating thing in a very negative way, but it's all
Yes.
about position yourself with it. But
Mhm.
again, I'm just obsessed with a respect for fear. That's so beautifully put. Put that on a bumper sticker.
Thank
Put
you,
that
pal.
on a t-shirt and
There
sell
you
it.
go. I will. I will. It'll be on the, Lemon Steam store in about 45 days.
I love that.
That's my turnaround time for new products right now, 45 days. Just give me a
That's
minute.
that's great. That's great.
But yeah, no, I feel like because I mean, I haven't had the sweetest upbringing, we haven't, it just is a thing, and I mean, there have
Uh-huh.
been several times when I have been terrified myself of
Mm,
several things, moving up here from Florida without a penny to my name, quitting jobs
yeah.
just because, like, I needed to quit them, like, at that
Yeah.
point, it was fear versus fear, and I had to choose the one path that was the least detrimental to, my existence.
Yes.
Um, because the fear of, am I gonna be able to support myself? Not if you don't have money coming in, but then also if somebody doesn't stop writing on my fucking nerves, I know I'm not gonna have the ability to control myself soon, so I'm just gonna
Right.
walk the fuck away and be done with this, and I'll figure the rest of it out. I mean,
Totally.
in that regard, fear is kind of like that, "Hey, caution flags, like, you have to choose one of these roads, neither one of them is great, but let's choose correctly."
Right.
And I mean, even in learning, like, you learn to be afraid of something because it might hurt you or it's scary or, like, it
Mhm.
it causes your adrenaline to jump. Really, it's preservation of this system and the self. But when you learn how to approach fear without being so fucking afraid and, like, manic, like, Ashley likes to say, "Cat at a swimming pool."
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you're fine on the edge of the pool, but because you saw your reflection, realized it was water, you freaked the fuck out, now you're in the water. It's
Right,
like
right. That's
it's like
funny.
I'm afraid of falling in, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from walking on the edge, like, I know I'm fine.
Right. I love
And
that.
it's like, "Let's just keep going. Let's just keep moving, we can do this." There are gonna be times when it fucking stops you, but at
Mhm.
the end of the day, then it gives you something else to look at and make a decision. Do I wanna live at this point? Like, am I comfortable here? Is this where
Right.
I need to be? Or is this fear teaching me that I need to just not just fucking nut up, but just take a second and, like, analyze,
Right. And
do
work
that
with it.
thoughts. Exactly. It's the
Yeah.
same I tell people the same shit about anger. They're just and rage. They're
Mm.
like, "So you just get angry at the drop of a hat." And I'm like, "No. 1, I'm always enraged, so I'm always annoyed, like, hands down. I'm just living in this rage, and that's just where I live." But
Sure.
you don't notice it. Like, you don't always know that I'm enraged. You don't always know that I'm living, annoyed or anything like that. Because to me, that's just it's tools and fuel, you know?
Right,
It's not
right.
something that I'm gonna sit here and stew in or agonize over. It's something that I'm going to take and use to go explore my spirituality, figure out maybe the things that triggered the anger in the first place,
Mhm.
which anger and rage to me are not the same things, but
Different. Yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
into that one another day.
Sure.
But, yeah, like, I don't I'm not looking at it going, I'm enraged, I'm gonna just lash out all the time." I'm looking at it going, "Okay, I know I'm angry, but that means that my body's probably gonna be a hell of a lot stronger for certain things that I need to get done." I'm gonna be a lot more focused on getting X, Y, and Z done. I'm not chasing the relief away from the anger or the relief
Mm.
away from the rage. I'm taking it and I'm using it, I'm utilizing it, which is something you
Yes.
can do with fear. Like, it's an energy and it's got something to tell you. So
Right.
listen, like what the rage tells me is I cannot sit on my hands. Like if I see something that is a problem, I need to deal with it, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of my core as a person. Like I don't I don't sit there and go, somebody else will deal with it. Like, no, I'm gonna fucking deal with it. I'm gonna deal with it
Right.
as best I can. And if I can't deal with it, then someone else I guess can deal with it.
Yeah.
But
Well, totally, and I think it's also huge that, like I mean, full transparency, something that I've definitely struggled with in the past and continue to work on is, like, whether it was anger or frustration, a repression of that.
Mhm.
I like that you're working with it and working through it and all that kinda stuff. Because a lot of people can result to just kinda like, "All right, I'm gonna keep it chill," and you don't realize you're building this really dense, hard ball inside of you, you know? And then at some point you reach a certain point where the body reaches a certain age where you're like, "Oh, I can't even, like, front anymore." And you're like, "Wait a minute." You wake up one day and you're like, "Why am I such an angry fucking person?"
When did I become this angry dickhead?
Literally, right? So
Yep.
and that for me, definitely with some anger and also definitely with, anxiety. Like, I reached a certain age where I was probably about 25 and I started having like chronic panic attacks every single day, multiple times a day. And when I say like panic attacks, I mean like full-blown panic. Like I know the difference
Wow.
between feeling kind of anxious and having a panic attack where you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm having a heart attack," is what it feels like.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
And yeah, and, like, I would have multiple of those a day, and it was, like, so awful, and I was like, what changed? Like, what's happening?" And I realized that I had just gotten to this point in my life after so many years that I had been repressing and working and just making it a dense little ball inside of me, but the funny part was that I had not identified myself as an anxious person, but then
Mhm.
after reflecting and looking back at my own childhood and thinking about the way I used to deal with things and the way that I used to actually feel and function, I was listening to the world's perspective of me, which was, "He's so chill."
Mhm.
Meanwhile, internally, I was rattling the entire time, but I
Yep.
was keeping a good front, and I realized, like, "Oh, I've always been super anxious," and I'm like, "That explains why I used to throw up all the time at
Yeah.
school."
Yeah, and I mean, that's a dichotomy though, like, on the outside, you're presenting at this chill, relaxed, like, "Nah, it's just Spence, he's like, he's the most," but on the inside,
He's
like
just chill, but has a
yeah,
bad stomach.
right, like, "Yeah, dude, you okay? Did you eat something weird?" But, like, on the
Yeah.
inside, you're like you have storms.
No!
and,
Right.
ugh, I hate that phrase. But I can't stand that phrase. I can't believe I just said that. But,
Is may I ask why really quick? I don't wanna
just it's an artifact from a time when I wasn't as cohesive and in control as I am now.
understood. Okay.
That is, and then later over drinks, I will tell you the entire story.
Love
But
it, love it.
but, yeah, no, it's the same thing of, like, you're on the inside, you've got all these storms just fucking you up left and right, you know, it's just kinda like, "I'm anxious about this, and I'm anxious about that," and your body chemistry is on top of it too, just
Mm,
going, "Oh, yeah, Spence, we're anxious about and, like, what about this? And that person over there said something, and it looked like they might have said it, and it's in the cadence of your name, they might be talking to and, like,
mhm.
are you actually good enough to do this, and could you do this over" and it's
Right.
just all but, you know, on the outside, you're just like, "Hey, no, everything's good to go," and
Totally.
it's what and conversely, when I was going through school, I was known as the weird kid and the scary one.
Mm.
Probably the suck up to some people, but to those people, go fuck yourself. I was trying not to, like, put a power drill through your face, so fuck off. Like, I had no idea growing up that I had, intermittent explosive disorder, that I had, like,
Mm,
IED was a thing, like, I have PTSD, I have a lot of things, I got a lot of
mhm.
trauma, just
Lot
yada,
of
yada.
letters, lot
Hey,
of letters.
I got many alphabets, it's like after you've had a Scrabble game for too long and you're missing, like, some of the the really important things, but
That's
the
so
rest of the
funny.
shit's there.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So I'm
That's
a mixed
funny.
up bag of Scrabble letters, and, what I used to do is, like, I didn't understand, you know, the adrenaline just fucking rushing through my body,
Mhm.
and spiking things, and, like, the fact that the body could react faster than I could catch up, and if you know me and you know the processing speed and you know my claim to fame is I process incredibly fast, and unfortunately
You
for me
do.
and the rest of the world, I'm very smart. So
Yes. You very much are. Yes.
So when the body is reacting long before I have the opportunity to actually do something, let alone the body being a teenager going through all the shit that it's going through, and then I punch a hole in a fucking wall. I'm like, I don't know what happened. I just know I'm in trouble. And I can see everything fine. My breathing is very slow. I'm very mellow, but for some reason people are running.
Mm, mm.
Alright. So, you know, and I had these blackouts through probably up until a few years ago. I don't black out as much anymore, but, like, I didn't know what was going on. People are like, "You're so
Uh,
angry," but then you actually get to know me, and I'm probably one of the most chill, laid back people you can get to know. Like, but on the outside, I'm scary looking and, like, you're terrifying, but I'm like, "I okay."
I I've, uh, worked with you in a professional setting. I've also, just been straight up friends with you for a handful of years now, I think. How many years have we known each other? I'm trying to think.
Let's say 3. 3 sounds
3?
good.
That's fair. So, I've seen you frustrated at things before or, like, getting kind of, like, pissed off at things. I don't know if I've ever seen you, like, explode, I guess, would be maybe the phrase,
Yeah.
but, yeah, you've always given me such a chill aura. Like, you've never I don't know. Like, even when I see you get to those frustrated places, to me, it's never read as like, "Shit." Like, my internal anxiety starts rattling. I just start puking everywhere.
Yeah, God. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't be like, "I'll be right back. I'll go get the cleaning supplies. We'll clean this shit up."
Yeah, right, right.
But I mean, like, yeah, it's and that's something that, like, I had to fucking work on real hard. So while I'm also being portrayed on the outside as, like, this angry neurodivergent black woman who people are
Mm,
just like, "You think you're on, you don't, you know, you just wanna keep things the way you wanna keep things." I'm like, "No, I keep things very close to the chest, but I'm open to exploring." Like,
mhm.
it takes a lot for people to come in here and explore that with me. Like, I tell people
No.
I'm friend level 11 because I always look pissed off and like I'm gonna kill something, but I'm pretty chill, but also I will eat you at the dry like, my favorite thing to tell my friends, "You fucking idiot." I love all my friends, like, if you're my friend
Eh,
and you hear me say "fucking idiot," you do just like, "Oh, Jess is just concerned that I'm being an idiot. Let me go t"
yes.
like,
Right.
but if you hear it in public, like, I remember at the moon market, the poor chick at the front, she would like, I was screaming, "You fucking idiot," across
Yeah.
the thing. She was like, and I'm like, "No, it's fine. They know listen, don't worry about it. Like, I'm
They
not
get
talking to
it.
you. I'm not talking to you." But,
Right,
like,
right.
I know that doesn't help my image on the outside, but also it just kinda is what it it's that dichotomy of both things can be true of like,
Yes.
I can flip on you in the drop of a hat, and I try not to. Like, I do the best I can
Right.
with what I've got. And,
100%.
I think honestly, I think that's all we can do, so roping back into fear, it's just like,
Mhm.
don't be afraid of somebody like me, just have a conversation. You know,
Right.
you might find out that I believe very clear I am what did they used to fucking call me? The warmongering hippie? It's like, yeah, I'll knock your jaw loose and, like, dislocate every fucking joint in your body, but then I'll also go get you an ice pack and put it back and
Right.
make sure you're fine, I guess.
Right,
But
right.
I would really rather just sit around and have these conversations, like exploring the parallel. I think that exploring parallels is very important. Like there is a
Mhm.
parallel here. There's also a dichotomy and an intersection. Like all of the
Yeah.
things that are happening in this conversation, none of this should make any sense. Like
Yeah,
it is chaos embodied, but
it is.
it's still creating something that, you know, I would think both of us can converse about, and hopefully somebody else out there, it'll help click with them so they can I don't even wanna say awaken something or anything. I just think people need to hear these things, you know?
Yeah, or at least, like, just consider a different perspective, even if they don't end up, like, agreeing or connecting to it, just being
Right,
like, "Huh, that was interesting," and practicing that skill of, like, parsing through different perspectives and that individual trying to get a better in turn, getting a better sense of where they feel like they sit in their perspective, you know?
right. I mean, because we all
Um
have places that we belong, from spell work that's just energy coming out of your I mean, again, it's the same thing, but it's like if you talk to a plant nicely, it's gonna grow a certain way. If you scream
Mhm.
at the plant and you're just like, "You're a fucking piece of shit," probably gonna turn into the most wild poison ivy thing you have ever seen. But,
Yeah.
like, it's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing with conversations. It's the same thing with getting to know people, you know, it's the same thing with talking to people who come from vastly different backgrounds and shit like that. I
Mhm.
mean, like, the parallels we could draw even between you having a more I don't wanna say normal, but, like, n
You could
not
say that could you could call it normal, that's fine.
okay,
It's
like,
it's fine.
normal adjacent, like,
Sure,
closer
like, closer to something you would see on ABC Family,
right,
like, in the early 2000s, late 90s.
right, like, you had more of the, ideal how not to fuck up a kid.
Sure, yes,
You
that's
know?
fair, that's a
Like,
fair statement.
that experience, but, like, we mesh on a lot of things, like, I might not have the same yeah, so what do you mean you used to go out to go see movies with your friends? That was
Right.
like a, "You have this much time, and we know the runtime," and but it's like, at that point, "No, fuck it, I'm done."
Yeah,
It's I
yeah,
can't
not
talk in
even
the
gonna
mo
go do
like,
that.
I'm just gonna go do homework. Like,
Right.
things of this nature, like, but we can still find common ground to collaborate, to chill, to talk about things that are fucking crazy, like
And there's fear going into that, some in a lot of those conversations
oh,
in those
yeah.
places, especially when you're talking about talking to people, talking to new people about those
Mhm.
things. And but again, to bring it back, it's just like it's about working with that fear to overcome that, and then
Yep.
make these kind of connections. I think some of the conversations you and I have had in the past, I mean, even this is a great conversation right now, but I think some of the conversations you and I have had, like, for me, have been some of the most truthfully, like, intellectually stimulating conversations I've had of the last, like, 8 years or so, like, whatever, you know what I mean? It's the conversations we have are the concepts and the things we talk about, and I wanna make sure I'm not coming off right now like, "We're so smart. I'm so glad we can have these conversations that other
Alright,
people can't,"
let
like
me just for those who think we're so smart, I fell off a toilet yesterday, so and I was not asleep, I just missed.
I've also had equally stimulating conversations talking to people about woodworking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
it's anything. It doesn't have to be, about a larger than life kinda conversation, but I'm saying the types of conversations we have are so fantastic, and it's nice because I know that when I have these conversations with you, that you're just as willing and okay to approach fearful oriented topics, and I also know that I have a trust that you trust me that I'm coming from a good place.
absolutely, man, and I trust that you would tell me if you weren't, like, I
Right.
value your opinion, I love the way that you see the world, like, you see the world in a way that I cannot, and for those of you who are like, "But you have a whole bunch of different perspectives," you know who you are, John. Um Like, yeah, but those aren't my perspectives, those are the others' perspectives. Like, my
Mhm,
perspective is very much so war-torn and, like,
mm,
broad, like, it's rugged, it's crazy, but also I understand that there is a place for civilized, made just conversation, like, we can do that too, and I love the way that you and I did go at, these types of topics and the shit that we bring to it. Because like,
mhm.
I wouldn't have thought about and especially, like, if you see the 2 of us it's like, I've seen people at coffee shops staring at us like, "What the fuck?"
We have matching haircuts, though.
Yeah, we do. This is the shaved head club, so, you have to be cool to be in this club.
That's right, that's right.
But, like, it's fucking phenomenal, and I love that you bring a whole new side like, there are some things where you'll bring in, like, Nintendo systems on top of, like, some Socrates levels, and I'm like, "Hold on a second, did you just equate Donkey Kong to the existence of a temp" and I'm just like, "Okay, wait, back up, this is now I can see this happening, but now I'm building a story around it, now I wanna know more about it."
I was
Like
literally about 15, like, 20, 30 seconds ago, I was about to you were talking about, like, I like, very, like, war-torn, and I was like, "My life I would describe as, like, being one of the Koopas that got jumped on in the shell, and then the shell got kicked around, and it's just bouncing everywhere." Like, I was just about to use that, so that's just such perfect timing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and I mean, like, these and again, we live in this weird spectrum, and I'm not talking about, like, a line that you're just putting a slider on, I mean, like, the
Right,
visual, crazy, wobble wobble vibrational spectrum of whatever this universe is, and we can find a way to take the oddities of everything that we talk about and draw from our own parallel lives and bring it together and then
right.
communicate on this, like, synergistic almost level, and I
Yes.
love that, I think we need more of those conversations, so to my fellow outroverts or otroverts or whatever your dialect says we should call that, come forth and let us have these conversations. I think we need to
Literally.
have more of them. But
Yes.
yeah, I think like these are the things that we need to be bringing up with each other because I think once we start attacking the perception of fear, the perception of parallels, the perception
Mhm.
of well, it's this versus that. The fact that it doesn't ever have to truly be this versus that, except for fascism, can go fuck itself 6 ways to Sunday.
Get outta here.
Get the fuck out of here. Intolerance is not okay. That is not okay. Unless it's like an engineering structure, then you need a certain level of intolerance so that it doesn't, like, cave in on
Mm.
itself, but that's when it's
What
okay,
about
but
my
s
lactose intolerance?
I mean, I don't that's between you and your body.
Okay.
I
Like, "Hold, BRB, gonna go grab a cup of milk real
Yeah,
quick."
there you go, perfect. Make sure you throw some cheese off to the side, have a giant piece of, like, yogurt, cheesecake, everything you could anything you can possibly imagine, but I think, like, these things, broken it all back, are
Mhm.
super vital to either and here comes the hippie, but healing the human condition because we have gone so far into the, like, "Fuck you, it's me." I think these are the things that make you realize, yeah, it's me and it's us. It's
Yes.
we, and no, I'm
Right.
not French. So so, like, these I love this shit, man, and I
Mhm.
love that you were able to bring, the magic and the Harry Potter and I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all, so that
Me
it's
either.
like that's another just lovely thing,
Yeah.
but I love that you were able to bring all that together and kind of stamp it for people who don't think about, the cosmos in terms of radioactivity and, like, what's
Right.
going on in your cells, and honestly, what that Hermes guy was actually looking like. I
Right.
kinda wanna find him in the non-physical afterverse is what I'm gonna call it.
I love
When
that.
you die, the afterverse, which is embodying everyone's afterlife.
Well, I was wondering, I was thinking about this earlier. So, when I was talking earlier about, like, kind of being in, like, my early to mid-20s and kind of, like, clean slating myself and, like, just saying, like, "Okay, let's explore and try to figure out what's going on here."
Mhm.
I have okay, the opening line to this would be, "I do believe in God, but not in the traditional sense of, like, a dude with a big white beard.
Right.
I believe in, like, a just all-encompassing power to the universe, and the thing that clicked for me in believing in that was when I started to read and watch videos about the 4th dimension. I was like, Oh, because like, the idea and I'm gonna do such a terrible job, I'm gonna botch this, but, like,
Yeah.
the idea is that, like, um, things can exist on an X and Y axis, and, that's I believe that's the 2nd dimension, and then it's
Mhm,
like you add in the Z axis, now we're entering the 3rd dimension, and then the next dimension is, like, time?
mhm.
And it's this idea that, like, if you were like, if you could almost think of it like frames of video or frames of, like, animation where it's like, if every instance, like, every single moment was, like, connected in a large timeline of, like, snapshots, the way that they'd visualize it is almost everything looks like a giant worm. Like, everything's, like, built of these, like, tubes that interconnect. I'm botching the shit out of this, but
Oh,
the
no,
I yeah, yeah.
yeah,
The
it just reminds me of the, Eternal Serpent.
yeah, okay. And the idea being, like, matter cannot be created or destroyed, it's just, like, it changes, right? And time is infinite. Therefore, like, with all of these kind of, like, interconnecting frames and moments, if time is gonna go forever, and then every possible combination of everything will happen at some point, and I'm like, "Well, okay, so this giant interconnectivity of infinite possibility," I'm like, "That's God." Like, it's just, like, moving energy, like, the difference is just that, like, we are all God, but we're just able to perceive ourselves, like,
See,
individually.
and so, like, you said a couple interesting things. One of them, I mean, you said a lot, but one of
Yes.
them was the whole, uh, matter can't be created or destroyed, but depending on the school of, scientific terminology that you
Mm.
come from, it's energy that can't be created or destroyed, not
Oh.
matter.
Oh,
But
okay.
then there are some that would argue that matter just transmutes into some other form of matter that then continues to persist until it doesn't persist anymore. And
Yeah.
then the whole web thing. So again, I'm gonna go all the way back to the Nords, which hilariously is where a lot of my DNA comes from,
Mm.
like way back in the Viking times. Explains my obsession with hammers. But um there's this concept of weird, like, and it's WYRD, which is the
Okay.
universal connectivity of all things and every energy and every possible outcome that could potentially and possibly and does exist. Because, like many older cultures, they believe in interconnectivity of all things,
Yes.
almost as if that is how it works because that makes the most sense.
Right.
But then, when you're talking about, like, God and all of those it's just it's what people bring to, these different terms. Like, I call it weird. I'm a big
Right.
weird person in so many ways. Um, but then, you would call it God or, some people would call it the universe or energy, and here's another fun thing that they've been looking at is the existence of time as it exists. Like,
Mhm.
now they're looking at time and saying, "Well, it changes throughout different places in the universe, speculatively, of course,
Mhm.
but they're thinking that maybe now it's the mass of the planet and its pull and the void around it that creates time and time's
Mm.
perception, which then means time in the universe is not actually time. It's just continued existence and
Mhm.
experience.
Wow.
So then it really makes you sit there and think about it and go, so I'm basing my entire life off of time and FOMO and all of these things
Right.
when really it's the vibrational energies and the energies in the web and the creation that, like, and I don't mean creation in the, like, God said in the beginning, like, not
Right, right.
any of that, but, like, the creation of thought form, the
Mhm.
manipulation of energy, like, and that's what we all do every day. The conversations we have, the actions we take, the things we believe, the rituals we perform day in and day out, whether
Mhm.
it's just making that cup of coffee in the morning or if it's actually going to, your house altar and saying a prayer or leaving an offering and then fucking off for the rest of the day. Like,
Right, right.
it is what it is, but that's your experience to have. Like, that's your thing to do,
Mhm.
that's your contribution to the existence. I'm gonna say this too, everybody has a right to exist, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean you have a right to exist without consequence.
Sure. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I'm like, there's the other T-shirt right after
Yeah, there it is.
the respect for fear one.
Right, but, like, that's the thing is, like, there's this web of interconnectivity that we all are a part of one way or
Mhm.
another, whether we wanna be or not, and people who say, spell work versus mental work versus all this other stuff. All they wanna do is influence that web one way or another.
Yes. It's so funny how much everybody, like, more or less has the same goal, but
Mhm.
it's just so fractured
Yep.
and people's perspectives, but it's like, at the end of the day, believe most, if not all, people have, like, the same goals in
Yeah.
mind, whether they even know it or not.
Yeah, man. Like, that's the beauty of this kind of, like, mentalist journey. It's
Ugh.
fucking wonderful to just jump into the fact that, yeah, so you call it God and I call it this other version of existence that also has to exist because it has to. And I'm gonna quote Morpheus again, what happened happened. And how do you know it was
Yeah.
supposed to happen that way? Because it could not have happened any other way because it happened.
Right, right,
Like that is a version that must persist. It
right.
has to be there. And its opposite also persists. And you just need to be okay with the fact that both also exist. It's an
Yes.
endless cycle because the web is continued forever. It does not stop, except for the universe where it does stop, and I don't wanna go there.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I think I find all that very interesting, and I constantly find myself flip-flopping between using the term God, or sometimes I'll just say the universe,
Mhm.
and I'll be like, "Oh, the universe didn't want me to do that," or, "Oh, or God wanted me to do that," or "The universe wanted me to do that,"
Yeah,
or whatever, and I just think I don't know, like, I like your use of the term, like, web, because I think that's another great way to, like, describe it. I really do truly believe that it is just, like, all one giant I definitely have heard this before. It's all oh, I think it was Pete Holmes. Do you know Pete Holmes, the
I do
stand-up
not.
comedian?
I do not,
Okay.
but I feel like I should.
You would really, I think, actually enjoy a lot of his stand-up because he talks about things like this,
Okay.
and, one of the things he says is just, like, he's talking about the existence of God, and he's like, he said, "The world is just one giant thing thinging itself," I think is the way he says it, and he talks about how, like, that is just God and how we are all God. It's and I just like the phrasing, "one giant thing thinging itself."
Yeah, I would have to agree it is one giant thing thinging itself made of many other tiny things thinging themselves, which then I'm gonna shout out to all my other plural system individuals out there because that's a whole different ideology. I think maybe even that I'm not sure this is a chicken or the egg conversation, what came first, the
Mm.
parallels, of being a singular inside of a plural system and looking at the world as singular individuals inside of a pluralist system, or if, being the way that I am helped me see that or that helped me see the way I am. Like, I'm over here like, which version is it? But then at the same time, I don't fucking know, and I'm okay you know what? I'm okay with that. Just
Right.
be okay with
Just be okay with it. Be okay with the fact that you're never gonna have all of the answers, and the fact that this shit's scary as fuck.
It is, but it is so much fun.
Yes,
Like
yes.
find it this is everybody's homework, find a buddy and just talk about random shit, and just
What
just do it.
what would be a good I'm trying to think of, like, a good metaphor here. What's something that is incredibly scary, but fun to do? That's, like, simultaneously fun and scary. I'm trying to think of, like, something to compare it to.
Eating Pop
Excuse me.
Rocks in the '90s.
What is scary about that?
Pop Rocks? My god, they just explode in your face like it's compressed air inside of a rock hard candy that just
Wait, but I can't picture someone, like, with their hand trembling, be like, "Oh, oh, shit."
what the joke is that like, back in the day, they used to tell us the Pop Rocks are just gonna explode in our stomach and we're all gonna
Really?
fucking die. And I mean, they might have, maybe, possibly, I don't know, I am not a food chemist, but, yeah, that was the thing, it wasn't just a little, like, crackle, like, "Ooh, that feels cool," it's just like,
Yeah.
no, they're gonna pop in your fucking stomach, you gonna die.
Okay, I remember hearing that if you it was like if you drink soda and
Yeah,
Pop
that
Rocks.
that was the later 2000s
Ye
version, and then we
yeah.
all did it because we were assholes, and then we decided to put Mentos in soda, which was a bad idea because
Oh, yeah.
Mentos are gross in soda, they're great by themselves, but don't stick them in, like,
Right, and the
you know
diet soda, and then, viral YouTube trends of
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what else was fun with I'd say roller coasters, but that's a traumatic memory.
okay, I'm sorry about the traumatic memory, but that's actually such a good metaphor for this.
Yeah,
That's perfect. It is a
I mean,
roller coaster. It's
even
fucking scary, but it's fun.
even the traumatic memory, I mean, I didn't die, I just almost died.
Yeah, that's not we I don't love that for you.
Yeah, no, they put me next to someone who's a little too big for the seat and did not secure my
Oh,
thing, and it
no.
was that, several G's going through a tube with the screaming green meanie, and I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna die here today." But I didn't. So, that was the thing. It was great, it
Yeah.
was fun for everybody else, terrifying for me, but fun for everybody else.
That's
So,
wild.
but yeah, so I'm gonna actually wrap it right there. So
Mm.
this I think is a great place to send people off thinking about how they've not strapped into roller coasters. And if you are like me, then I would love to hear about it.
Yes.
But this is Spence the Sound Guy. Appreciate you spending the afternoon, evening, whatever fucking time of day it is, because I live in a cellar.
Thank
Uh
you for having me on here.
yeah, man, it's fun. You'll be back, don't worry.
Hell yeah.
You'll get in the fucking van.
Alright. There we go.
That's what'll happen.
Running on the mic, gonna shout it when I'm doing